Kilo Echo 5, X-ray Alpha.
Kilo 5 Sierra.
X-ray Alpha, I think it was.
Yes, Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Velo. Victor. This is Kilo Echo 5, X-ray Alpha. Name here is Milton, Mike, India, Lima, Tango, Ocean, November. And I'd like to ask you how this old Kenwood TS-830 sounds to you.
Roger, Roger. I was just trying to put my finger on it. Sounds like it might be just a tad low, you know, just in frequency, just a tad low. Check it. I'm at 7189, and it's really close, though, Roger.
Oh, Roger that. Just went through a calibration procedure on it, so don't know how that happened, but I'm not going to argue with you. Certainly could. I've set many radio and television transmitters, so anyway, just wondered how it sounded audio-wise. Over.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Just out of curiosity, could you come up one click, 718901, out of curiosity?
Okay, how was that?
Talk to me for just a minute.
Okay, this is testing 1, 2, 3. Kenwood TS-830, 34 years old and still kicking.
Okay, I think go the other way. I thought you would come up, but I think you might have gone down. Your sounds a little low in frequency. So if you came up to 718901, is that where you went?
That's where I went. 718901. That's where .1 was where I went.
Roger, Roger. It just sounded a little draggy, you know, like it might be just a tad low. But maybe if you have a freak meter that you could put on it and check her out.
Okay, yeah, I did that, and it came up pretty close. That with WWV and the 10 megahertz reference that I have that's driven off GPS.
Roger, Roger. It's a small thing. It just sounded a little draggy, and usually that is just a tad low. You know, it goes two ways. It's either draggy, which means you're slightly low in frequency, or it's kind of Mickey Mouse, like that, you know. But this sounded like it might have been just a little low in frequency. But the audio's great. Whereabouts are you, sir?
I'm about 13 miles east of Savannah, Georgia, in Wilmington Island. Like I said, since Kenwood TS-830 into a Butternut HS6Z.
Roger, and what kind of power are you doing there?
100 watts.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, you're about 8 dB above my noise level, so that's really good. You know, we're kind of like a vagabond. We went from mornings at 10:30 on this frequency to afternoons like 3:30, hoping that we could get some better conditions for our lower-powered friends, you know, because there for a long time in the morning, 100 watters were coming in dB, 2 dB above my noise level at the 300 to 400 mile range. Roger?
Oh, Roger that. You're 5 and 9 plus 10. 5 and 9 plus 10. Just booming in here.
Roger, Roger. Well, you know, I can't give you a real estimator reading because our receiver is really RF level in the front end is very low to stay out of compression. We're just above just below AGC compression, so we are not having any receiver discoloration of the audio signal. It's not compressing at all, so we can, you know, get a fairly accurate representation of what folks are sending out. Roger?
Roger that. I just changed over to my external VFO, which was also calibrated. And does that sound any better, different, or about the same otherwise?
It sounds better. It does sound better. Now, you're at 7189.0000?
Roger that. I can only do 100 hertz increments. I can't go with any more granularity than that.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Yeah, I think out of the box, that's just a tad closer to my ear as to being on frequency, and I'm sure that you know it's a very small thing. I mean, just you know, it sounded to me like about a 0.01 difference. Roger.
Oh, roger that. When I did put it through my frequency counter and scope and standard and all, it did come up. It moves around about 20 hertz.
Roger, roger. Yeah, I'm using an older Yaesu 990, but the thing about it is this 990 is, I mean, you set it on a frequency and you come back a week later and it is that same frequency, you know.
Roger that. That's the way my Raytheon 152 sitting over here next to this one is. It's for commercial ship operation. I've converted it to amateur and everything else. So it'll work from about 1 meg to 30, but 70 meg IF, heated crystal, the whole bit. It's very, very stable. I use it for my digital mode.
Roger, roger. Now, you might be interested if you did a test that you would take the two radios together and a receiver and key both radios and see what the heterodyne is.
Yeah, I haven't tried that. I don't have another receiver to try it with. Those are the only two radios I have that would even get close to this. So maybe I'll get one of my buddies couple hundred miles away so he can receive me. Low angle of radiation on the antenna, so that has to be a ways a bit.
Alpha Echo 4, November Echo.
November Echo, go.
You sound all right to me. I'm in Virginia, about 26 miles from Mount Airy, North Carolina. I'm right on the Virginia line, right down below the Blue Ridge Parkway. You sound good here. I don't know where you're at, how far away you are, so you can gauge you from my signal. Over.
Okay, very good. Yes, I'm about, let's see, 289 to the South Carolina line, about the same. Yeah, we're about, I'm going to say 600 miles apart. Over.
Roger, I heard you drop something on the floor just now. Something dropped on the floor, or you moved your chair. I'm hearing you just fine. My name is Jerry. I was just working on the frequency here, and I heard you fellas talking. Thought maybe that might help you, ask you where you're at, tell you where I'm at. You're doing just fine here, 600 miles. Alpha Echo 4 November, okay. Alpha Echo 4 November Echo. Name here is Jerry, Patrick County, Virginia. So I'm gone. Y'all go ahead and carry on.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. It's Kilo Echo 5 X-Ray Alpha, Milton here, and thanks for the input. Over.
And Milton, if you do have a buddy there that's got a freak counter, it'd be interesting, and then to find out what he says and let me know. I think the VFO was, to me, my ear, a little closer than the original signal. But yeah, I would be interested, if you could get back with me. We're going to be, with any luck, doing our QSO-VLOG'S on Friday on this frequency, 7189, between 3:30 and 5. That's on Fridays. Roger.
Roger that. Could you comment a bit on the compression? I have tried listening to it, but as you well know, having been in radio, that if you don't listen to yourself, or if you listen to yourself, you don't really hear too much. You always want to go mix minus when you're talking into a mixer. So anyway, just wonder how the compression and overall level of the audio is.
EQ is fine. The ballistics, it's like fairly unprocessed. You're probably running about a 5 dB dynamic range. Check your ALC to be sure your mid-range to 2/3 deflection on the ALC meter. Do you have you've got a meter, Roger?
Roger that. I just turned the processor up a little bit. I'd never hit it too hard. I don't know, having been in the world of audio, I really just hate over-processed signals. This probably changed it a little bit. It was set up for another microphone that I had, an old electric type that was a little bit tinny, and I changed out to an Audio Technica that I've had for many years. It always served me well, mainly for voice work, but that seems to work pretty good.
Oh, Roger, that helped out. You were a little low on your ALC. That's the thing. You got to remember, not all microphones are created equal as far as output level. So when you change mics, you got to go back and check that ALC to be sure that you're where you want to be. You want to be mid-scale to 2/3, and I think you just brought her up there to that level, Roger.
Roger, yeah, I didn't change the ALC. I just put a little more compression on it, which gives it a little more pop. So this thing has a pretty good compressor built right into it, and I can see it on my current meter here that it is just kicking a little better and staying up higher longer.
Roger, that might be it sounded a little rippy at the top there, just a tad, maybe too much, but definitely helped, Roger.
Oh, Roger, that I just came down just a touch on it, so that should help a little bit.
Roger, yeah, your dynamic range now is about 3 dB, which is, I think that's pretty much ideal, probably about 65% average peak modulation, 70% somewhere in there. And just, today you just need all the help you can get, and when you start to bring that dynamic range down, your signal just gets fatter and fatter, Roger.
Roger that. Yes, it's unusual to find someone who actually understands audio. A lot of it is very subjective, and there are a lot of opinions out there, but the IEEE, IEAA, and NAB, and all of those guys haven't spent millions of dollars putting out standards, and it's good to find someone who understands those. So I do appreciate your input on this, and hopefully we'll be talking to you some other time. KE5XA. Over.
Roger. And what was the name again?
Milton.
That's right. I almost wrote that down. Milton. All right, sir. And another thing I found is that you can listen to your EQ and you can set it the way you want it. But what happens, it's like a train. The further the train gets away from the station, things start to happen with the modulation. You have different reflections in the atmosphere that come down at different times, slightly out of phase, and the first thing that happens is a cancellation in the upper frequency range. So I always kind of crank in a little more top end than what I would think is necessary, because I know that's the first thing that's going to get lost down the road. Roger?
Oh, Roger that. You get some fairly wild stuff when you get reflections and cancellations, and probably heard the diesel truck that just went by that my neighbors bought. So anyway, you get some cancellations and some weird things happening with phasing. So just really kind of goes crazy.
Oh, that's a Roger. It's just, it gets out there no man's land, and no man says, "Hey, I'm going to do this to you and that," and you're not able to be at the far end to hear how it winds up. But with the QSO-VLOG you are. So if you would like, we'll have this uploaded to YouTube in the next couple of days. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that'll take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and then there will be one session called My Group Air Check 11-9-18, and that's the one you want. That'll be about an hour and a half or so.
Okay, sounds good. I'll definitely check that out in a few days, just see what I hear. So, like I said, it's kind of hard to listen to yourself and talk at the same time, so especially those of us who aren't very coordinated. Anyway, thank you, Jim, for the help, and we'll talk to you later on down the log. Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, Kilo Echo 5, X-Ray Alpha 73.
Roger, sir. And after you do that, hopefully you'll check back in next Friday between 3:30 and 5, and let me know what you think about the air check, and your observations be appreciated. Thank you, sir. 3 is that away, and have a good day, Milton. This is KC9VKV, the QSO-VLOG program. If you have a radio, you want to check the audio, give us a shout. We are recording.